To all our Malaysian viewers tuning in from all hours around the world, we'll be going live in approximately 5 minutes. We look forward to seeing you here very soon on the first episode of the Rummy Report Malaysia edition. Give one moment to our viewers. Alright, and it seems we are good. Today with me on this special report of Bermuda, I have current Secretary of State of the United States, Norman Paperman. Norman, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Rummy. Thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here in Malaysia and to be the first Secretary of State to speak directly on TV to the Malaysian people.
Quite a historic moment, and behind us we have our entire media team supporting us, and thank you to the chairman of Bermuda for making this interview possible. Definitely a big first step. You are the first Secretary of State to be on Malaysian television, and you have clarified. Oh, sorry about that. Let me fix myself really quick. You've clarified your position on Malaysia. Norman, how does it feel to be here today?
It feels good to be in a country with such a lovely history and culture, and the size of the community that rivals even our own. It feels really good to be here, and such an honor.
Norman, that is great, and I'm sure we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. But first of all, to all our Malaysian viewers tuning in and everyone tuning in around the world, welcome to the Rummy Report, reporting live for the first time from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, accompanied by Secretary of State Norman Paperman. and welcome to our show to all our viewers. It's our pleasure having you on. We've made the commitment, despite time zones, snow, and other things going on here in the States, to make sure that we could have this show live, and we wanted to have it on time. So, Norman, I'll get it right to it. I will be honest with you, it's going to be a hard interview. As you know, some stuff's gone down. But the Malaysian people, want answers, Norman, and that's why you're here today. So, Norman, earlier today there was an intelligence leak in nUSA. There are
Yes.
implications that Malaysian related material was in that leak. What do you have to say?
Well, Rummy, the first thing I'll tell you is that what was leaked can't really be considered intelligence. Basically, the United States seeks to be involved with everybody in the international community. We want to know what's happening in your community. We want to know who we should reach out and talk to. We want to know about your upcoming, cultural events and development projects. And so what the United States has been doing is just summarizing information from your news channels and from posts in the United Nations into a little report for our ambassadors and our leadership. So what was leaked wasn't really any intelligence. It was just summaries of the information your news has reported. And I see how it's being reported as, spying, but it's really nothing of the sort.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you. And in regards to the United States and Malaysia's relationship, we know that under previous administrations, the American-Malaysian relations hasn't really been up to standard. I mean, you've made it a clear communication as part of your State Department effort that you, Norman, as Secretary of State, and along with the current administration, want to make Malaysia one of the top priorities within the United States' diplomatic agenda. What do you have to say to the Malaysian people and to the Malaysian government here on live television?
Well, the first thing I want to say, Rummy, is that your Prime Minister brought some concerns to me several days ago about things that were said by previous officials in the United States government, and I've already released a letter addressed to the Malaysian people, but the first thing I want to do is apologize for the way that the United States has conducted affairs in the past. Some things were said that were hurtful, and I'd like to make up for that by refocusing on Malaysia as a community and upping our level of engagement. So, I guess what I'd like to say is that it is the highest aspiration of the American people, of my government, to cooperate with your government, because together with two of the strongest and most important nations in the international community, if we work as a team, there is nothing we cannot accomplish.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And that's quite the message you've got there. So moving forward, what can you tell us of the current relations between the Malaysian and American government? What's currently being done to make amends?
We're having frequent discussions with the Malaysian government. I met with the Prime Minister actually just a few hours ago, and we discussed ways we can improve our relationship. One of the things the United States is planning to do is start rolling out some joint events with our international partners, including Malaysia. Some examples would be we'd like to host joint exercises between our militaries. We'd like to host joint trainings or friendly scrimmages or other sorts of events like that between our law enforcement agencies. One of the things I haven't had a chance to talk to your government about is our government is currently working on a project to open up airports, and I've seen many pictures of airplanes being developed for your group. I can say in real life I'm a big one world flyer, so I've been blessed with the opportunity to fly Malaysian Airlines many times, so I hope that in the future maybe Malaysia could send your wonderful airline to cooperate with the United States airport project. There's so much that we could do to improve our relationships, and that's been actively talked about with your government, and I look forward to seeing what the future brings for our two countries.
All right, Norman, so that's great. And back to the story of the day. At this time, can you tell us, the members of the Malaysian media, if there's been any operations on Malaysia?
There have been no spying operations conducted on Malaysia. All that has happened is our diplomats and other officials within our government have collected information from your news media and from your public posts in the international feed to give clear and concise reports to our diplomats on what's going on in your country so we can stay informed and stay engaged.
All right, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. So, Mr. Secretary, if you had one message for the Malaysian people right now, what would that be?
If I had one message for the Malaysian people, it would be this. I know that in the past our relationship has been rocky, but we in the United States would like to turn over a new leaf and to cooperate closely with the people of Malaysia and the people of every other nation in Asia and the world to have more joint events, more military and political cooperation, more discussions between our governments, maybe have some joint cultural events between our citizens. We would like to be an active and engaged partner to your country, and I hope that you, the people of Malaysia, and the government of Malaysia will work with us, the United States, to make cooperation between our countries happen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Secretary. And if that's the case, we've delivered the message that you wanted to deliver to the Malaysian people. I'll give Rummy's take on this, which is my own. Malaysia and the United States are two of the most prosperous countries in the international community from an objective standpoint. There's no denying that, and I believe that no one should deny that. Malaysia is boasting huge player bases right now, has an active and functional government, and is along with the United States. The United States clearly has interests in helping Malaysia grow due to the fact that the United States is looking for regional allies in the East. I myself have always promoted Malaysia as the future of row nations, especially within Asia. As many row nations previously failed to recognize, there were never any, how do I say this? There was never major attention on Asian nations besides from ASEAN. So my take on this, Mr. Secretary, before you leave and before I continue the news of the day here in Malaysia, is thank you for coming here, and I do wish you the best of luck in your talks with the Malaysian government, as I believe for a better row nation community, we need more cooperation. Anyways, that's been us for now. We'll be back with everyone later in about 5 minutes with your daily report of Malaysian news. Mr. Secretary, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much, Rummy, and thank you so much to the government and people of Malaysia for hosting me in your country.
All right, if that's the case, Mr. Secretary, I'll say bye now, and to our viewers, we'll be back in 1 to 5 minutes with your news of the day. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Have a great night. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Rummy Report here live, coming to you from our Malaysian studio. It's our pleasure to provide you with today's daily news. And with that, once our cameraman here gets adjusted, we'll get right to it. All right, perfect. So, what's been going on in Malaysia today? We'll give you the daily brief, nice, easy, and concise. No need to get into. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it seems we're live now. Sorry about that short delay. Now that our cameraman has adjusted, we are ready to go live. First, the breaking news of today. Malaysia has officially established diplomatic relations with Turkey. They will together support each other, according to government, and use intentionally and unintentionally armed forces support. That is a quote from the government. I do believe they will have to do some grammatical correction, but that's what we have from now. Furthermore, we know that the Prime Minister yesterday attended the state opening of Parliament, where his government was officially invested, and the Yang di Pertuan gave the royal address, where the government's agenda was addressed and where all matters were covered. Along with that, the Prime Minister also opened up MyGov, which is going to be, according to our sources, an attempt between the Malaysian government to communicate with the Malaysian people. Also in the news, the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia met with the Deputy Minister of Defense and Burita yesterday to discuss a program A which will bring defense forces closer to the public. Our analysts assume that this will be an attempt to create possibly materials relating to the armed forces. We'll have to get more on that later. We're still looking into the matter. We're still seeing, as these are some of the first days of the newly invested government in office, but we're looking forward to see what they have to bring. Not much else, but that's all we have for you today. We'll be back tomorrow with our daily Malaysian report and possibly a special edition tonight. Thank you for all our viewers who tuned in for that interview, and we hope for a smoother one next time. It's been a pleasure. I'm not Rummy, signing out. This has been your Daily Malaysian Report.